Hey, this is Bruce Cook. This video, I'm just showing something new that I'm trying to save some of my plants. So, in the last video, well, last couple videos, I pointed out some of my plants that had lost pretty much all their leaves, and I even had one die in the beginning. So, what's going on was it was after I had put my plants outside, and it would have been probably the first time the sun was out and it was a warm day, and I was attempting to harden these plants. I had them all in the center. I was using that frost blanket first to protect them from the freezing temperatures at night, and then to harden them off, since this is an area that the sun it's exposed to the sun quite a bit. My idea was to harden them off by using shade cloth. And the first day, I used a single one of my 20 by 20, 40% sunblock shade cloths. And then I realized that wasn't enough. It did stress out a lot of my plants. Most of them all recovered. Obviously, you see they're alive and full of foliage and all that, but some of them did show some signs of a little bit of damage, but some of them lost all their leaves. Now, the one plant that died, it was rotting at the end of the plant, or the end of the limbs, and it just ended up being a runaway reaction, where the plant just kept rotting until it finally rotted past the soil where the plant came out. So I have 4 other plants that are doing the same thing. So we got this one right here. You're going to see I got little tiny Ziploc bags on these plants. Then we got my Primatali, the one that I chose to put in the big 5-gallon bucket. So my idea, I've never heard anybody do this before, putting these little tiny Ziploc bags on the ends of the plants where they were attempting to rot. Where I got the idea from was people who cross-pollinate intentionally. You know, they're crossing peppers. They'll, after pulling the petals off of new flowers that open up, when they put the pollen onto the stigma, a lot of them will pick the petals off and then put these little tiny Ziploc bags over them. That way they can identify the cross and also protect the flower as well, so it can safely pollinate. But so that's where my idea came from. I have no idea if this is going to work or not, but I will tell you, I did this a couple days ago. These are these little tiny Ziploc bags that I actually get from a vape store that I get my vape juice from. I'm sure they sell these things for people to use for other things, but I bought them a couple years ago to store seeds, pepper seeds. And I thought maybe if I put them on the ends of these things, it would help protect the ends of the plant. So what I did was I would cut the tips off where it would have a little bit of rotting going on, and then I put these Ziploc bags on. And so far, I have not noticed any rotting since then. So I have pulled these bags off and felt the texture of these things, and they're still firm. So maybe it's working, or maybe it's just I don't know if it's just a coincidence, and maybe they're just healing on their own and wouldn't have need these. But all I know is every one of these plants that I did this to. So we got that one right there, we got that one, and then there's a couple of them over here. So we got this right here and that one right there. So far, none of them have been rotting since I put the thing on. So maybe it's working. I did have to come out and use a stapler to staple on these little bags, because I discovered one of them had blown off. So I'm hoping the staple will help hold these bags tight onto them. But it's just a little experiment. We'll see if it protect the plants long enough. I just need the plants to start producing some leaves, because if it doesn't, then the plant's just going to fail. But you can see my Primatali does have new little baby leaves growing in at the bottom. So it does show some promise. And then these The small ones, I don't think I've seen any. I mean, they got little tiny like leaf buds coming out of the stems. So I just need them to grow quick enough so the plant doesn't fail. But yeah, so you got little ones trying to grow out on there. But another thing too, I was saying in my past few pepper garden update videos, some sketchy things that was going on with the leaves. I completely forgot that the sun can do that, the bleaching and all that, because I do know some mornings when I came out and watered them, the sun was coming out right afterwards, and this is when I had my shade cloth up, and I'm guessing all those little spots must have come from burning, little droplets of water creating like a magnifying glass effect. So I just watched one of Chili Chump's videos, and he was talking about how this bleaching look would come from the sun, plants getting too much sun before they're properly hardened off. I've known this, just I forget things, so I thought maybe it was potentially disease or something like that, but no, this is perfectly consistent with what I learned in the past and what I heard Chili Chump talk about recently. So I think that's all it is, but these plants are properly hardened off now. So I started out with 2 layers. I had 2 separate 20 by 20 40% sunblock shade cloths, and I had to double them up. So it was, I don't know if that equates to 80% black. I do know the sunlight that was getting through wasn't much, but then after over a week of doing that, I pulled the one cloth off, and there was 1 cloth remaining. And then after a week of that, I took it off altogether, and my plants had absolutely no problem taking direct sunlight when it was up to like 80 degrees out already. So I think it's been the past several days. We've had days between 70 and 80 degrees, but it was mostly the sun coming down and beating on the plants for the majority of the day. That tells me these plants must be hardened off, because they're taking it no problem. On some of the days I have off, I do come out and check them periodically just to make sure everything's okay and there's no wilting or anything. As long as I keep the soil a little bit hydrated during the day, which this mulch does a very good job of helping to prevent a lot of the moisture from evaporating out of the soil. Does a really good job of doing that. So, and luckily we've been getting some rainy days. We have had some storms, hit down south. Unfortunately, some states were hit with some deadly tornadoes. So we've had some winds here where I live near Atlanta, Georgia, but no tornadoes yet. But anyways, my plants are looking really good. So I do have a lot of my plants on the labels. I did mark them when I used different soil. All these are soil mixes from pre-mixed soils from either Walmart or Home Depot. So I got the majority of them every one of them that are in the containers with the red mulch are going to have Miracle-Gro Organics Performance soil. I learned to use that from Ed Curry, the creator of the Carolina Reaper. He has a YouTube channel as well, and he did make some informational videos on how to properly grow super hot peppers. And I had good luck with the Miracle-Gro Organics Performance container soil. So I'm doing it again this year, using it again this year. But my local Walmart had run out of that, and Home Depot doesn't carry that specific type of Miracle-Gro soil. So some of these plants are in Vigora, and then some others are in that Kellogg Organics. So I used that like 2 or 3 years ago. So I have them all labeled though. So we'll see when these plants start, some of the same varieties start putting out peppers, being in different soil. We'll see like what one Primatali pepper will, if there's going to be any major difference in flavor or whatever from one that is in the Miracle-Gro Organics versus like Vigora. Also, these plants, actually these new ones, are in your regular Miracle-Gro container soil, the regular stuff, not the organic stuff. So I thought I'd try that out with the new ones. I mean, I got a gigantic 4 square foot bag of soil for 20. Well, it was I think actually it came to $21 after tax. Usually that stuff is like $13, $14 just for 2 square feet of it. So, and I wanted to get enough in one shot to get them into these containers, and there still should be plenty enough in that bag to transplant these into 2-gallon containers when I'm ready to do that. So some of these, well, the plants that were struggling, the ones I got these little baggies on, I also did something different with those. I did put some of my crap. Now I'm forgetting it. It's plant food pellets. I can't remember off the top of my head what it is, but it's something I learned on Kingstar's channel. So it's just these little plant food pellets. They're like 14, and I can't remember what the phosphorus level was. But I put a little bit of the seeds underneath the soil around the root system to just for it a little extra boost in hopes that it would get extra nutrients in there to grow the leaves out as quickly as possible so these plants don't die. So we'll see what happens. You know, I've done a lot of experimental things this season, from starting the seedlings all the way up to right now. Some things that I've never heard anybody do before, and I've gotten lucky. Most everything I've done so far has helped out quite a bit. But anyways, that's my update. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.